Akseli Gallen-Kallela is one of Finland's best-known painters, whose career dates back to the turn of the 20th century. He is especially known for his works of the Finnish national epic Kalevala and for themes and motifs found in the daily lives of rural residents and crofts, which were poor and modest. Gallen-Kallela himself was very interested in life close to nature and built a wilderness studio for himself and his family in Ruovesi, which is located in the southern central Finland. At the same time, he himself was one of the key figures in Finnish cultural life, with extensive networks in art circles, and from whom he also drew subjects for his paintings. He worked both in Finland and on many occasions elsewhere in Europe, Africa and America. As a person, he was a curious seeker of something new, with burning desire to develop as an artist and to discover new and different ways of expression. The title of this work is The Lamenting Boat, and it combines many of Gallen-Kallela's interests and feelings related to his work and his own life. It depicts a Kalevala warrior figure who has sunk into his thoughts and melancholy, perhaps to recall past times. It does not directly depict any story of the Kalevala, but both the way it is described, the person's clothing, and the atmosphere of the work suggest Gallen-Kallela's interest in the stories of the Kalevala. Gallen-Kallela has said that it also describes his own state of mind, which varied between great enthusiasm and depression. The model of the painting has been a peasant from Ruovesi, but the face is that of Gallen-Kallela's good friend, composer Robert Kajanus. Kajanus also appears in his other famous painting called The Symposium. In addition to Kajanus, composers Oskar Merikanto and Jean Sibelius also belonged to this circle of friends of the same name. Gallen-Kallela was a skilled painter who mastered a wide range of techniques for making art. 3 different versions of the work are known, made with different techniques. This sketchy work is painted in tempera colors on canvas. The word tempera comes from the Latin word temperare, which means to mix or blend things together. In tempera dye, egg yolk is mixed into the color pigment as a binder. It is a very old painting technique. It probably was already used as early as in antiquity and became more common in the Middle Ages, and still is a technique used by many artists. Gallen-Kallela, who was still known by his original Swedish name Axel Galén at the time of painting this work, also used tempera in many of his paintings. This work is completed in 1906, and the following year the artist changed his name to Akseli Gallen-Kallela, the Finnish version, and the name with which he is widely known today.
In archaeology, we investigate the human past, and science methods are actually quite useful tools for that. If we look at this painting and think about the kind of archaeological remains this depicted moment would leave behind, we must remember that the Finnish soil is very acidic. In such a soil, all organic materials like wood, plant and bone will vanish fairly quickly. This is why prehistoric archaeological findings from Finland are mainly inorganic stone, clay and metal artifacts, which can be researched using the methods of inorganic chemistry. If a boat like this was buried for centuries, archaeologists could probably find some wood remains, at least see the outline of the boat, and perhaps be able to take a small sample of the wood for radiocarbon dating. Using this method, one could approximate when the boat was built, that is, by learning when the tree was cut down and used to build the boat. In addition, if the boat had some metal parts, we could use geochemical methods to identify which alloy they were made of, such as iron, bronze or brass. To identify the metal ore where the metal was originally extracted, we would use isotopic analysis. As a case in point, bronze was transported to the Finnish region from southern Europe already during the Bronze and Iron Ages via long-distance international exchange networks. Furthermore, if there were any ceramic, lithic or metal artifacts left in the boat, such as ceramic containers, tools, weapons or jewelry, we could analyze their material composition, manufacturing techniques and provenance. We can also use chemical analysis to identify how the artifacts were used. For example, what kind of food was stored in the ceramic vessels, and whether any milk or fish lipid remain, in order to understand more about past diets, habits and subsistence. We can also analyze the soil of the find spot to search for elemental enrichment deriving from human activities in the area. An example of this would be elevated levels of phosphorus, strontium or metal values, which can be indicative of food preparation and metalworking activities. In this way, methods from chemistry can be applied to a variety of archaeological research questions to help us better understand the human past.